right, well, if you've made it this far, thanks for sticking around.
Thank you very much.
But we're actually going to get into some fun hockey topics at this point. So if everybody listened to our last big hockey pod, the four of us made some predictions about point total over-unders for every team in the league. So we're halfway through the season. We're at the Four Nations break. And we're going to review all of our predictions, how close we are, and if we think some of these teams are trending towards some of the totals we guessed. Okay?
Awesome.
So, again, like last time, we'll just go in a circle. I think for each team, we'll maybe start with Gabe and then go in a circle, and then we'll reverse it for the next team, right? Mm-hmm. So let's go start from the top. Last time we started at the bottom. We'll go top down. And so our first team we're going to start off with is the Edmonton Oilers. So the estimate before the start of the season was 108 points. And every single one of us went over on that total. And right now, 55 games into the season, they have 72 points. So they are 36 points off of that pace, 37 technically to hit the over. And they have 27 games left, which means at minimum or maximum, they need to win at least 18 of their last 27 games of the season.
That's not that hard, actually. I mean, it's being that they're a good team. I mean,
It's just, the McDavid and Draisaitl factor alone.
Yeah, it's going to be close. It's going to be close.
And we all said over.
Yeah.
And
we're on pace to crush it, I think.
No, we're on pace to just barely meet it.
I think we're on pace to just barely meet it.
Yeah.
Because there's 27 games left. We have to win, or they need to get 36 points in the last 27 games.
Yeah.
So 36 of the last 54.
Well, you know Edmonton's going to get some pieces at the deadline.
That's the one thing I'm thinking too is they're probably picking up a top 4D, maybe a better goalie. So I do believe that there's a really good chance they'll meet that.
Yeah. So are you sticking with the over?
Yeah, I'm going to stay with the over.
Yeah. We're not going to change it, but I'm just saying for the pod purposes.
I'm staying with
I
the
think
over.
I'd stick with it too.
Yeah, okay. I think so as well. I think Draisaitl's shown that he can carry a load, so it should be an interesting time.
Yeah, and he gets his 2-week break right now. That's invaluable.
Yeah.
Plus, like Gabe said, they're going to pick up a piece or two. So,
yeah. All right. Well, then we have Colorado Avalanche. Our point total predictions was 103 for the season. Right now, 55 games in, they're at 68.
Oh,
so they are quite a bit off. Only 27 games left in the season. So I went with the under. Derek went with the over. Gabe went with the over, and Connor went with the under. So Connor and I think our reasons last time was that they just didn't do anything in the offseason. Obviously, they made some moves now, but they are looking like it might be tight to get to that 103 points.
Yeah.
Pretty tight. How many points is that? Need,
Glad I didn't put money on any of this.
Yes. 35 points.
Yeah, that's tight.
Yeah, I regret.
I love their
many
goaltending
things in my
now.
life. Should I start?
Yeah, I think we went with the under largely because of their goaltending. They fix that now so that it's not impossible that they don't just go on a crazy run. But I'm pretty happy with the under.
What do you think? Why do you think they've underperformed so far?
They really started poorly, as we all know. But after their Blackwood acquisition, that really changed their trajectory. And you never know. Again, another team that could add some more pieces, like Crosby, at the deadline.
Do you really think they're going to add?
Want or think?
If there's ever a year with the start that they've had in the first game, Crosby could be tempted.
Really?
If there's ever a time for him to want something at the twilight in his career,
I would be stoked on it.
that'd be insane.
Crosby as a Canuck would be better, though.
Yeah, I think it's slightly possible. I think next season, if things are just as poor as they were this year in Pittsburgh, the Crosby rumor mill is going to start and it's going to get real. And I do think Canucks are going to be on a short list because of the connection with Rutherford and Albion. And I think Canadian teams. I think if it's Crosby, what else does he have to lose? He's accomplished everything. except winning a team in a Canadian city.
That would be an epic.
I think it'll be like Toronto. I think Colorado's on that list. I think we'll be on that list, and probably one or two other teams. Like, I bet you when the list comes out of 5 or 6 teams, like, we'll be one of those teams.
Interesting.
I just want to say I regret my choice. Damn it.
All right, so Dallas Stars. Preseason estimate was 102 points. I went with the over. All of us went with the over. We all thought Dallas was going to crush this. They are at 72 points in 55 games, so 30 points with 27 games remaining. I think they're cruising to that total.
Yeah,
they're cruising to that over.
That's easy.
That team is a powerhouse.
Yeah. Also going to add at the deadline.
Yep.
Yeah.
They got a ton of LTIR money right now. Like, they're the team that could make a real big swing. I've heard of the rant and rumor to Dallas already.
Oh. What? Really? For who?
I don't know what they returned, like Stankoven or Maverick Bork.
So they just go all in with okay.
I've heard the rumor, and it makes a lot of sense because they have Sagan and who else? Heiskanen now might be out until playoffs.
Yeah.
So they have like tons of LTIR money. Like, I've heard the rumors they have more than 15 or 16 right now.
Well, they added Chi and Granlund.
They still have 15 or 16 with the LTIR.
I actually just like Dallas as a club. Not, not their team, like specifically players. Just as always, I've liked Dallas.
And it feels like at this time, like, I've been a Robertson fan for however long, and this team hasn't really clicked at any part of the season.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they're still killing it.
I like Hintz a lot too, and he and Robertson are both having off years.
Oh, Hintz is having a worse season than Robertson.
Yeah,
but Robertson's almost point per game now.
I know, but
because he went on a roll.
But
last
even
20.
I think Hintz has caught fire too. But comparatively, the two of them are so much better than what they're playing, and the team is still this good.
It's
it
nuts.
Does make you wonder. It's like,
nuts.
wow, when everyone's firing on all this.
Well, their goalie is so
Sagan
good.
hasn't played. He's not Sagan.
He's not up for the season.
He's coming in the playoffs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Johnston hasn't even been that great. Stankoven's been crap.
Yeah.
So how are they? I didn't even know what they were.
Depth. Just depth, man.
Just depth, yeah. They got guys like, what's his name there that you sometimes forget about? Forwards. They got a bunch, but like, just...
They have Marchment.
Marchment. Yeah. Like, a guy like that, you don't really think much of him, but he's surprisingly productive there.
Yeah. And then Jamie Benn has continued his, like... He's not Jamie Benn of old.
No.
But he's been this, like, solid second line player now for 4 years, where everyone thought he was just done.
I think Gabe might have been the one that brought this, like, thought of this, but we were talking, and when the whole shit went down with Rutherford calling out PD and JT, he was like, I think it was you, if not, but someone was saying, like, I hope that maybe it's like the Sagan and Ben thing where they get called out and play good.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
It was kind of reminiscent of that, yeah.
All right. Well, then next we got Florida. Preseason estimate is 102, so similar to Dallas. I went with the under. Connor had the over. Derek had the under. Gabe had the under. So all of us went under except for Connor. They're sitting at 71 points, so they only need 31 points left to go. So that's 15 wins in the next 25. I think they're going to cruise that total too.
I think they should pull that off.
Yeah.
So Connor got that. Connor had some nice prediction there.
Left the herd.
I just thought that they were going to inevitably have a downrider, only because they just had been grueling 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And everyone thought, well, I thought Reinhardt was going to regress like crazy this year.
Yeah.
But he's continued what he's doing. Spencer Knight's coming back and done really well and won almost every one of his backup games. Really well. Like, done really well. Like 9.5, 9.6 save percentage. So
it always helps so much. Like we were talking about the 1A, 1B. Even if you just have your backup, it doesn't have to be a 1B, but if they can just win you games, your team infinitely just like jumps up the standings, as opposed to if your backup's in, you're like, we're probably going to lose.
Yeah. But that team, I think, is going to be, they just solidified themselves as just a powerhouse, a mainstay contender.
Yeah.
Something in the water in Florida.
Florida, man. But next team we got is our Derek's favorite, the Toronto Maple Leafs. The 101-point preseason prediction, which isn't that high of a point total. All of us went under except for Gabe, who is the lone over. They're sitting at 68 points in 55 games, so They just need to have 33 points, 33 out of the last 54 points. So 33 or 54 points. So that's pretty doable, I think. I think it's a little tight.
A little tight, but doable.
They've been missing some. They missed their starter for a while.
They're both starters. I don't know. It's, at least when one's down, the other's up at least. So it seems like they've held together well. But their goaltending has actually been the first time in years, at least, had really good goaltending.
Well, Matthews has missed 20 games, so there's a huge portion of that where Matthews was just hurt.
To me, from what I've seen of their season, it's been because of Stolarz and
all Toronto has to do is make it out of the first round, and they're like...
They did last year.
I swear they... Okay, then the second round, if they do that, that's like the most historic thing, and they can go home happy for the next 2 decades.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to happen at some point. I don't know if this is the season, but...
I mean, I gotta say, seeing Austin Matthews live, holy cow. He's so good.
And he's hurt. Oh. Apparently he needs that surgery in the offseason.
Really?
Yeah, and he's still that
He just had this one play, because he was kind of quiet against us, but he had this one play where he just kind of came out in the middle, pulled it from his backhand to his forehand shot, and missed the net. But he can score that no problem. The way he did it, you're just like, damn.
He's as advertised, that guy. Yeah. He's so good.
Yeah.
New Jersey Devils. I think this one we crushed. I mean, it's really tough not to crush this prediction, especially because they got Markstrom, but their preseason prediction was 101. We all hammered the over. They're sitting at 80 points in the last 55, so the highest total we've seen so far. They basically need just 10 wins in their last 27. I think we cruise to that one easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And they don't have Markstrom until the playoffs?
Yeah, he's out long term.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, Jake Allen will hold the fort.
And the team's just deeper now.
Yeah.
It's
defensively, they're so much better. And they got lots of scoring up front. So
Who's that guy that came up, Nemec, that really started shining? In that?
He's still in and out on the defense. There was some rumbling that he might have been one of the guys that they could dangle.
No, it was Nosen, I think.
Oh, Neeson. Yeah.
He's really, really come up and even usurped Meyer on the top wing there.
Do you think there's a world where Quinn Hughes just doesn't re-sign because he wants to go and play in New Jersey with his brothers as they're this crazy team?
There's a world.
There's a world, but I'm not certain. I think one thing I've always thought is, if fucking Luke Hughes was a righty, yes. Because that means they could play together 24/7.
A mega line of the brothers.
Luke Hughes is as good as he is, and they're both lefties, meaning one of them has to play second fiddle to the other. I think that might actually be the thing that saves us.
And the Hughes brothers are all Luke is the best one.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting.
Yeah,
because Luke's 6'1". He's, for whatever reason, he didn't have the height problem,
and he skates just as well as both of them.
There's a real chance that Luke, he's not bursting on the scene as quick as the other two, but there's a chance that Luke is as good, or at least he's a top lefty, which again means
Quinn can play righty.
But good on us. Pat on the back there. We all crushed that over.
Yeah. I'll drink to that one. Cheers.
All right, next one. We talked about this team quite a bit in this pod already, but we got Carolina. Preseason point estimate was 100. I went under. Connor went over. Derek went under, and Gabe went under. So Connor, again, the lone over. And they're sitting right now 70 points in 56 games. So they need another 30 points to round out the end of the season, which I don't think is unrealistic.
No, that means they have 26 games.
26 games,
that's 2 games above 500 to finish the season.
Pretty much, just 15 wins.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident.
Depends if Ghost Bear keeps healthier enough.
Well, I also didn't think any of us thought they were getting Rantanen. So
that's true. Yeah, that's a big one.
I thought they were just going to regress, but clearly that's not the case. So Connor got the loan over there.
Yeah, and they're so well structured with Brindamore over there. They're not playing worse than 2 games above 500 to round out the season. Even if Rantanen trades for futures, they're still pulling that off.
I just wish Brindamore would roll his best players out more. It's my biggest gripe with him. Is he plays 4 lines of hockey, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
But I just think the reason why they're not successful in the playoffs is when time comes and he's like, oh, now I have to play my best guys. They haven't been doing it all year.
Yeah. That's what they did the first 20 games. That's why Nietzsche was at 35 points in 20 games or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy.
But now he's back to being Brindamore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting just the thought of like how do you manage your team to make the playoffs and like what you do, because that's a good point.
He manages in a way that's to win the regular. I do feel like that sometimes. He doesn't let the Stars run free, and that's what you really do have to do in the playoffs.
All right, the New York Rangers.
Oh, fuck.
Let's not talk about these guys.
So the preseason estimate was 100, which we all thought was very doable because all four of us hammered the over, and they have 58 points in 55 games.
They can still do it.
Still over.
They need to win 21 out of the last 27 games.
They can do it. It's not impossible yet. It's not impossible yet.
They do have JT.
Oh man, we were so off. Like
why
not
has New
even
York been so
close,
bad?
man.
Shesterkin's been terrible.
I believe last year they had like 120.
Yeah.
So like to go to
not
100,
helped
I thought was like that's already a huge drop.
Yeah.
And now I'm hearing that they might not even crack 90. In a
How?
month,
Well, they have
fuck.
58 points.
Yeah, so they're not cracking 90.
Yeah, they have to get 42 to get to
Like they're
32.
already a lock not to make the playoffs.
What do you think the problem is?
Momentum
Honestly,
through management and just...
yeah, it all started, in my opinion, with the Trouba thing.
Yeah.
I think
Trouba,
they
then you lose
sent this
Kako.
really bad wave of shit through the locker room.
What happened with the Trouba thing?
So
Who's the
basically,
captain?
they wanted more cap, and in fairness, Trouba was paid.
Sorry, how long ago was this?
No, the start of the season.
Okay,
Like, before the
okay.
season
November.
started,
No,
so-
it was November.
Or yeah, so anyways, Trouba he's overpaid for sure, there's no doubt about it. But he still is like a mainstay on their team, and he's their captain, and he's a big guy in the locker room or whatever, and the way they handled it was just so piss poor. They were basically like, pack your bags, like, figure it out. Like, they just were like, there was no real...
Captain.
Yeah, it was a bad way of handling it, and the season just started so poorly that I think personally that's where it all went wrong. It rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Like him and Chris Kreider were supposed to be best buddies, and look who's having a terrible season, Chris Kreider.
And they came out rolling too.
Yeah.
Do you remember? They came out winning like they went like 12-2 or something, and then just
Shesterkin's
cratered.
been having a rough go, but their defense as a whole has been terrible. Like Fox isn't like the Fox I've watched. Guys like Keandre Miller and Lindgren are both been such good shutdowns.
Do you think is it possible Trouba that was that good of a glue to the team?
I think it's just like just tough. Like he was definitely the voice of the room. I feel like he was like the captain, and he was known to be like that kind of a guy. So I think just the way they handled it was just so poor. I just think they just sent a bad vibe to the locker room that just seemed to like not
You know what will fix that? JT Miller.
Yeah, that's it's been kind of so, yeah, I don't see it getting any better over there. I'll say that much.
All right, another fun team because we're tied to them forever. The Boston Bruins.
Oh yeah.
Preseason point estimate's 99. The only person that went over is Gabe.
Really?
All of us went under.
Oof.
Right now they're sitting at 60 points in 57 games. With 25 games to go, they just need to do 39 points to hit that over.
That's
again.
not too bad.
Really called over on that?
Yeah, you're the only one.
Like all I can really
That's
say
foolish.
is Boston is a decade and a half almost overdue to a rebuild. So
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what we all said was that we're basically playing with house money. Where I think for 5 or 6 years, everybody's like, it's gonna come crumbling.
Yeah.
And then every year they've come back and just gone insane, and it finally came crumbling, and it's been come crumbling
100%.
pretty spectacularly.
Yeah.
Well, you have to remember that it is 6 months ago now, but the whole Allmark situation with him being traded and what's his face? Swayman holding out caused drama in the beginning of the year as well.
He's been so bad.
Yeah, he's been
Swayman,
terrible.
he has been
Not worth
terrible.
what he's
Yeah.
demanded.
Has a big contract. And
Man, he looks like an idiot now. Well, I mean, not really because he got the money.
Yeah, you
but,
got paid. Yeah.
Boston looks like an idiot.
The stink he made.
and then there's our good old Vancouver Canucks, and we've talked about them already, but their preseason point estimate was 99, which we actually all thought was a little low, but because we hit over on them, and
Yeah,
they're at
Homer.
63 points in 55 games. So we need. It's not doable. We just need to do 18 wins in our last 27.
You'll just have to
It's
go
just
on a
tight.
heater. Yeah,
It's
you
just
just have to
tight.
go on a
It's
heater.
tough. Yeah,
Not a lot of
18
room.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say.
I'd like to see it because that would mean we're in the playoffs for sure.
And I do feel like our team's kind of just like outside of the drama, the JT stuff, that's resolved itself. So we're going to see what happens with like the resolve of that. And we have players coming back now, and like Demko is starting to hopefully actually be back too. So I could see like there's a world where obviously they don't make it to there, but there's a world where we're like, oh, we're there, and it was not surprising.
Do you think you get to 99?
I think we're going to be just shy of it.
Okay.
I think, in my opinion, so historically over the last while, you usually need 93 or 94 points to make the playoffs.
Okay.
But with the way the West is shaking out, you might squeak by with like 92, 93. I think we'll do a little better than that. I think we're going to line with like 95, 96 for some reason. So we'll get that second wild card spot, in my opinion, and I think we're just going to come shy of our guess there. But
we have a fun one next. So Nashville Predators have a preseason point estimate of 99 points.
Oh, no.
We all must have failed this, right?
Connor, Derek, and Gabe, y'all went over as the only one who went under.
We were. Dang.
45 points in 54 games so far.
Wow.
They're not making that 99-point total. Not that I thought they were going to be this bad, because I did not see them being this bad. The thing for me was always that they signed a bunch of older people. Like, they were going to be better than last year.
Yeah.
I just thought that the guys that they signed were a little older. So I was like...
thought because they pulled off like 95 or whatever points last year, so I thought there's no way you sign all these players and don't get a few extra fucking points, let alone go back 20 or whatever.
I saw them beat us. That was a Canucks game I was at, and that was disappointing as fuck.
We saw them beat us.
Also saw them beat us, and that was us going in being like, yeah, Stamkos is shit now, and then he scored multiple goals.
Yeah, he scored against us the game.
That's
underestimation for sure.
For sure, and I think that one was a funny one, because I'm like, oh.
I think the entire NHL industry fucked up that one. Their guesses.
Yeah. Next one's, we got my Tampa Bay Lightning.
Nice.
They're 98 points preseason. We all hit the over.
Nice.
They were at 66 points in the 55 games. I think they're hitting that 98 pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
They just need to win half of their games left, and I think they're there.
Yeah.
Gensel's growing in. Hagel's having a career year.
Yeah.
They just keep spitting out these guys out of nowhere.
Yeah. And they're somehow going to add this fantastic third liner who's going to be a playoff guy. And
I mean, I have a theory about that. I feel like there's a lot to it, so it's not like just one thing, but like if a franchise, like for example Miami in basketball, there's just sometimes teams they win. And so they like keep on like via winning these talents that come up, they grow up in a winning environment and they are talent, right? So they thrive and they just like keep this upward trajectory they have. And it's a lot of it's based around that they're in this like winning mentality, and that like sometimes is what you need to propel on. And it doesn't mean they're just going to always be Tampa. But like think of it, any time that there's a team that's really historically good for a long time, they consistently have these guys where like, of course, this guy got good too. Oh, who's this guy? And he got good. And I think part of that is just kind of like winning. If your organization's set up well, you can breed this like ongoing where all your talent gets better than it should be.
Well, it doesn't hurt that they have literally one of the best or the best winger in the league in Kucherov.
Yeah.
I think he's again leading the team in points by a 36-point margin. He's just ridiculous, man.
And he hasn't gotten that off.
But he is. He's third in scoring. That's the crazy part.
But he hasn't got his usual off.
Yeah, he's at 84 points or something, and he's like 5 points back from McKinnon, and people are like, he's having a slow year. I'm like, there's 27 games left in the season, and he's already hit 84 points.
Dax is wearing a Kucherov jersey.
I am, yeah. But I do want to give props to Connor here, because he said that Connor Geeky was going to be pretty key pickup, and he's dominated that third line for them. He's basically won. He's basically allowed Sorelli to go up in the second line.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, we all thought he was old and washed, but Ryan McDonough is all of a sudden good again.
Yeah, I think he just had to go back to Tampa, right? It seemed to be like the best place for him. Like, it was weird. I remember when he went from the Rangers there too, and he was decent, but he like elevated his game in his late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
And then I thought he was, 37
30,
now? Like,
35.
Yeah, I thought he was washed up.
Yeah, he's good again.
But I don't know. He found his home in Tampa, and that's where he's good.
And we got Vegas.
Ooh.
98-point preseason estimate. The only person that went under is Gabe. All of us went over. They're at 72 points, and they are on their way to crushing that prediction.
I regret. I think they're going to go under 2. There's a tail off after the All-Star break no one talks about.
I think they're so
Theodore,
good,
man. No Theodore for the rest of the season.
But their defense is so good, man. Even without Theodore.
I hate how cemented in hockey Vegas is because of how new they are, but how like
They just keep turning their roster over.
It's funny too because they keep seeing big players like there's talk about Rantanen moving and stuff, and all these people have these articles out, and they go, and somehow Vegas is going to pull off fucking Mikko Rantanen. And I'm like, there's no way. They have no picks. They have no prospects. They don't even have a first-round pick for like 3 years.
They don't, yeah.
crazy.
They've traded all their prospects. Like, they had one...
Hurdle.
Hurdle? Yeah. But, like, they just acquired him / he's their second center, so...
That's a perfect Vegas thing to do.
Yeah, who knows? Like, it's one of those things, like, people are like, they're going to somehow pull it off. And I'm like, well...
It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm just... And, yeah. Well, Eichel's finally been the Eichel that everyone thought he was supposed to be, which is one of the biggest buffs, but...
Their defense is so good.
So good.
It's the best in the league, in my opinion.
It's so good.
And Eichel is... I love watching Eichel.
He's probably, outside of Barkov and a few other guys, like in the top 5 now of two-way players. Which I don't think people had him pegged as this elite
He's known
defensive
for his
player.
goal scoring. He's really young, and then he became more of a playmaker, and then now he's become more of like a
Two-way guy.
force,
I think it's
yeah.
Stone. Just being around Stone all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Stone's the best two-way forward in the league, still, in my opinion. He doesn't get the credit. I mean, he's injured a lot. So
Not this season. Not this season.
Yeah, I've heard he's up.
I think the two-way players are also just the most skilled in hockey. For the most part, like, I know McDavid is like a thing, but like overall, like, if you take into the whole of the sport, not just like offensive weaponry with your hands, like if you're a really good two-way player, you can skate, you can defend, you can pass, you can check, like you can just do it all.
Yeah.
So it makes sense if you like have that skill, you could potentially get there one day. Like,
Yeah, I think so.
I think I think a lot of players would love to be two-way talent and they just could never actually do it.
Next up, we got the Los Angeles Kings. Their preseason point estimate was 96. Derek and I went over. Connor and Gabe went under. 65 points in 53 games so far. 29 games left, which is an insane buff that they have over everyone else. Which is
crap,
yeah. I think they have 3 to 5 games on hand over everyone else. So that's basically half their games to make it to that total. I think they should do it.
I think they should do it, yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. I nothing really to say that because there's not really any sexy players in that team, but they're just solid.
Mm-hmm.
Like super, super solid.
Yeah,
Kopitar's point per game get.
Yeah, I'd questioned their goaltending. That was my big gripe with them going.
Kemper's
into the year.
phenomenal.
But yeah, Kemper has turned out to be great for them. So.
Who knew all he needed was a good team?
I mean,
It's weird because LA, was it 2 years ago?
That's true.
Was it 2 years ago LA sucked? Like it wasn't, it was in the recent past. They were just terrible.
But they just don't seem to die. And then a lot of their young guys are finally like starting to become
they've got that transitional period where their old guys are still producing and their young guys are.
I mean, Kopitar is an NHL legend by the time it's said.
They have Kopitar and Doughty, but then they got
Kempe,
guys like
Fiala.
and Kempe. But no, they have like Clark and Byfield who are like, coming up and they're producing while the old guys are still producing.
Yeah.
It's kind of that combo of like, give it a couple years when Kopitar and Doughty leave. Fucked in my opinion, but like I do feel like they're in a good spot right now.
And finally, second half Fiala has returned. After
he's back again. He's good again.
2 years, he didn't have the second half Fiala, but
now
he's
rolling again.
30-game heater.
Yeah.
I'm glad you traded him to Connor.
No, I traded him to Derek.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna sell low on him, and then because they were good and he sucked. I'm like, he's not going to be better than this.
Yeah.
Second half Fiala.
One of the streakiest guys in the league, hands down.
All right, and then we have Winnipeg, 95-point preseason total. The only person, again, that nailed this is Connor. Went over. Everyone else went under.
Connor.
They're at 81 points already. They basically just need to win 7 games, and they crushed this over.
Wow, shit.
I didn't think this was coming.
I thought they were a playoff team, so that's why I chose them to make it, and I would have predicted them at like 98 points or something. Like they're going to hit like 120, so I didn't obviously expect this either.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, I think we just learned Hellebuck is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I just didn't think Hellebuck was going to be
they're a pretty deep team too, but I mean, he's just, to me, I said it to you guys earlier, he's a top 5 player in the league right now.
Yeah. And Scheifele is just turn into like
He's aging well.
Yes.
I also was
Aging
going to
well.
say he's going to take this Canada not choosing him to another level too. I think it's a chip on his shoulder, and he's that kind of guy. Like, you watch after this tournament.
He's going crazy right now.
He just loves hockey so much.
Much athlete.
Yeah.
I have Winnipeg as like a dark horse to kind of like win the whole Stanley Cup right now.
The only reason why
I'd be fine with
reason why I'm like a little bit wary to pick them, even though their defense.
But
They're
I'm
one
also,
Josh Morrissey injury away.
I'm also fully expecting them, whoever the top D is going to be available, I think they're going to be all over that shit. I wish Rasmus Anderson would go there.
It's Anderson. Anderson's the big...
Yeah.
The
If
big
Calgary
one.
slips in the next week or two here, they're going to start shopping Anderson because the return's going to be amazing.
Because I've heard the Tampa Bay rumor as well, too.
Yeah.
Because they have, surprisingly out of nowhere, have cap room again.
One thing with Winnipeg is Winnipeg has surprisingly good assets.
Yes,
They have like Brendan Yeager and Colby Bart. Like they've got some
Even
phenomenal-
Perfetti, if they really wanted to ship
They have
him.
some phenomenal young guys to ship in the deal. So I have a world where I'm thinking like a Rasmus Anderson lands in Winnipeg, and that's all they're away from being like a true contender.
And finally, Hellebuck might make the conference finals for the first time.
I don't think he's ever broken through the second,
know.
third round.
I think, yeah, I don't think he's...
Oh, no, I think they did. I
They
think
made the
did
conference
make a run.
final
Yeah.
about. But was he the starter then? That was a long time ago.
It would have been Buffalo's last season.
Yeah, 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
That was so long.
Because then he
ago.
disappeared after that.
He probably was the goalie then.
Yeah.
Who else was it even before him?
I think it must have been him.
It's probably him.
All right, next one is the Minnesota Wild. 94-point preseason point total. I'm the only one that hit the over, but only for the love of Kirill Kaprizov. I didn't think they were going to be like this good, but everyone else went under. They're at 70 points in 56 games. I think they should comfortably do it. Short of losing more people to injury, I think they should be able to win 12 out of their last 27.
I hate Minnesota.
Gustafson's been a revelation this year.
That's why.
Huge bounce back. Yeah.
Ottawa. Yeah.
I believe I got this one.
90 points preseason total. We all hit the over.
Okay.
They're sitting at 62 points. They have 26 games left, which means they have to win 14 of those last 26.
Doable.
I think it's doable. I just think it might be a little tight.
It's going to be tight, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're even buyers at this point. I think they're so desperate to make the playoffs that they will be buyers, which will kind of help any team in this, hunt.
And they hadn't had Olmark.
Yeah,
Olmark had been
that
hurt.
rookie goalie was sensational. But, I think it's possible.
For sure.
It's close, though. That might be like the closest of everything we've talked about so
Yeah.
far.
They started so hot, and now they've cooled off, but I think they can keep up again. Especially with Kachuk going hot off the tournament.
Yeah. I think I could see it happening.
We have Detroit next. Detroit Red Wings with a preseason point estimate of 90 points. I don't know why I went over. Everyone else went under. They're surprisingly at 61 points
They're
now
close to.
because they just they basically fired their coach, have a new coach
Colin
now,
Love.
and they've gone on a heater. So they might do this, but they need to win 14 of their last 27.
Doable.
Yeah, they could
Definitely
do that.
doable.
I think it's doable,
Yeah.
Talbot's been
but
on
I don't know if
fire.
they're going to hit that 90.
No, them and Ottawa are like exact same situation. Like, it's funny because I bet you they're playing each other once or twice down the stretch, and those games are going to mean a lot.
That's sweet.
That's going to be interesting.
I think Detroit over Ottawa right now.
I think Ottawa over Detroit.
I think Ottawa over Detroit.
Better star talent. Guys like Brady Kachuk and Stutzla, and like, there's just more.
Their defense is good.
I think
Sanderson,
their defense more
Chabot.
too. I just think they have more game breakers, better goaltending. Like, I'm kind of shocked that these two are even close. For a while, I don't believe in Steve Yzerman anymore. I thought the Yzerman plan has been kind of failing, in my opinion, for a while.
Yeah.
I always thought they had decent enough pieces to make a hit. Like, they have they were fairly good top six.
They do.
Raymond and Larkin I like, but that's like kind of it. I like Mo Sider, but I also think he's like a really good number 2.
Edvinson.
He's a really good number
Yeah.
3, 4.
But Sider has been rolling since they since they changed coaches.
I still think they need like a true offensive puck moving number 1. And I know they got that Sandin Pellikka kid. He looks like he could be really good, but I don't know. I feel like Ottawa's done a much better job over these last few years, in my opinion, of creating like a better team.
For sure. I agree.
Yeah. Long term, I think.
I just like Ottawa. They're one of the few Canadian franchises I actually like, and that's just more historic. But more going back to
Carlson, Spezza, Heatley days,
Alfredson, what's his name, Patrick Lalime, like way back.
Even like their scrappy guys, their Chris Neal.
They're Spartan. Like that's such a cool logo.
Yeah, I used to love Chris Neal. I thought always he was that scrappy guy with the missing front tooth all the time. He was the epitome of like a Spartan type guy. I always thought he's not the greatest player, but he fought.
I also think part of it is they never really were threatened Vancouver as being good, even when they had good teams. I
don't know. I think they did. They went to the Eastern Conference Final. Yeah, the Stanley Cup playoff.
I'm saying, but I'm saying against us. Like there was never a thing where we ever had like
a rival.
Oh yeah, because they're all the way
over there. Yeah, so
we rarely play each other.
Yeah,
fair. I feel like when we've been good, they've been bad. Yeah, when they've been good, we've been bad.
Yeah, so there's never
it's never really meant anything. I know what you mean.
They beat us, and you're like, well, yeah, we suck, and you're good. And
I've kind of always been the same with them.
We got next the New York Islanders. Their
I'm not commenting on this trash.
Well, actually, this was the most surprising one for me.
They're the most mid team of all time.
Yes, so this is the Connor nailed it. So 90-point preseason. I went under. Connor and Derek both went over, even though Derek hates them. So Gabe and I both went under.
I'm changing my vote.
I thought they were not doing that great, and they have 67 points in 55 games.
So mid.
They're so mid, but they only need 11 more wins. I think they're going over.
I think they're going over, it sounds like.
Well, they lost.
Yet I still think the funny part is they're going to miss the playoffs with 93. That's what's going to happen.
It's a hard East.
Yeah, it's going to be like Detroit.
They lost Barzal.
Again, yeah.
It's going to be like Detroit, Ottawa, Islanders, and maybe someone else sprinkled in there fighting for one or two spots. And they're 100% going to be one of the teams that loses out.
Well, it's just like Calgary to see how they do for the next few weeks because
they might start selling. I've kind of heard that, and that makes no fucking sense.
It's so stupid.
It makes no sense.
I've heard that rumor too, and I'm probably more baffled by that than the Rantman thing. Yeah. Because I'm like, wait, he is probably your best player, period.
I imagine he's only got a year
25 or 6. He's on a good deal. He's yes, you'd get a haul, but you'll never replace that.
I don't really know what Lamorello is doing, to be honest with you.
I think he's a bad GM.
I don't know what he's been doing for the last 10 years.
It's weird how you can be a notoriously bad GM and consistently just keep getting
He was
hired.
good for a long, long time, but he has been notoriously bad.
But it's just crazy to me that they have 67 points. Because in my head,
signing guys to
they've been so bad
contracts last year, a year ago, and he's trying to buy them out a year later. It was hilarious.
But I do think they hit the over, which again, Connor and Derek. Again, Connor right now has just been the superstar of this over under.
I am trash.
All right, next team. I think we don't even have to spend too much time, but Pittsburgh Penguins. For some reason, they had a 90-point preseason estimate, and we all hit the under there, hammered the under.
I just hope Crosby leaves.
55 points in 57 games.
Sad.
Not even close. I don't even think they're going to sniff 90 points at all.
No.
I don't even know. That's another team. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing.
I mean, they're selling. They sold us.
Believe in the plan.
They sold us Marcus Pettersson. First.
I think they're just probably in the classic. When you have the legendary Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, and I even guess Chris Letang, you try and extend your team more than you should.
I was going to say, it's a little bit like when we had Hank and Dan at the end, and we were a little bit desperate to even just sniff the playoffs with them one last time, and we were making moves for and free agent signings that just didn't really
to try.
And it's I get it because these players meant so much to your team for so long, but in this case, I do think Pittsburgh's 100% going to probably sell until the year's over, and I think Sid's on the move next year. I don't think.
Do you guys think Sidney gets traded?
Not this year.
I would like to see him get traded this year.
The thing with Sid is he won't go until he asks to go, and he's way too prideful and respectful to ask this soon into the contract.
Yeah.
He'll wait until next year's a shit show, and at some point, your management will be like, we should start talking.
Because for me, here's the thing for me. In the past, I used to be such a fan of the lifer at a club, which is cool if you do that. But I don't think it tarnishes your career at all to do what Crosby's done for them and then be like, I'm going to continue on, because
Especially
he's not
when-
even a duffer.
No.
He's still like the elitist.
He's still,
Well, that's the thing.
not elitist,
His-
he's still good.
Well,
he's going to
yeah,
get
that's
you
true.
such a good package. Like, guys like this at this age don't get you returns like he might
But
get.
he will.
Yeah.
Like, he is a jump start to this day for a rebuild, right? He'll get you 2 firsts and a blue chip prospect.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like he signed that team friendly deal. It's $8.7 million for Crosby.
Unbelievable.
Like,
So
imagine
we
then
signed that
Pittsburgh
number.
goes and retains like $2 million. So you get Crosby at like $5.5 million, or you know, $6 million dollars. Like,
Trading
there's-
for him alone, you're going to get back in jersey sales.
yeah. Like it's nuts. Like the value.
If he came
that
to
he-
Vancouver, I'd
The
cry.
only thing I do say about the Sydney trade is it'll have to come from a contender, so that kind of cancels out a lot of teams that, you know, would maybe have more desirable first round picks, because they're not going to trade him for like.
Contender and no, because like if you're, I would argue as long as you're playoff bound, because adding Crosby could make you go from playoff bound to contender. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not adding a top 6 winger. You're adding Sidney
Crosby.
fucking Crosby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you look at the Canucks and our biggest hole is 2C right now, right?
Yeah.
Or 1C, just a
You
center
had
behind
Crosby.
Pettersson. You had Crosby with Pettersson.
Who would you move though for
I'll
Crosby?
give them whatever they want. They want Lekkerimäki and Willander. I'll do it.
Oh my god!
I would do it.
Wow.
I'd give them.
You know what's going to win us a cup in the next 2 to 3 years, or our lifetime period? Crosby.
Yeah.
With Hughes in their prime. Like, it's not Willander 5 years from now when Hughes is
That'd be
32.
such a cool jersey.
Imagine.
Dude, would you not move everything we have? For
I
the
could
Hughes to get
picture-
A Crosby
tomorrow?
black jersey would be
Oh.
amazing. Amazing.
Like, I personally would do it. Because the moment we had Crosby, we're back to contender.
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't understand it. Like, no, it's just not happening. I wouldn't accept it.
It would, you know what it would be? It would be like your Luka trade.
Yeah.
I'm watching every Lakers game now because I usually watch most of them.
Yeah.
But they've just been like meh. But ever since Luka got traded, I've been like, yeah, nothing else matters.
I think it could happen, man. I'm telling you right now. It's going to be mid through next year when they're shit in the bed and the team list gets... The people he's talking to or whatever comes out, we're going to be on that list. And it's going to be interesting.
Well, I was talking to Connor and I was telling him Friedman had Erickson, Eck, and Fleury on his podcast a couple weeks ago. And they're basically talking about, you know, obviously you have a connection to Crosby. You played in Pittsburgh for blah, blah, blah. And he played a clip from that podcast. And Fleury basically said, without telling him that he should ask out, is that he said that he wishes that Crosby would be able to compete for a championship.
Yeah.
Because he knows how much he loves to win. And it was basically short of him going, he should ask out.
Yeah. And again, that's Sid to a T too. Like, I actually think he won't ask out. I think management will have to approach him because that's just who he is. I think management will go to him and be like, listen, the season's like, next year's already a fucking write-off. You got a year and a half left in your deal and potentially your entire career here. We're clearly going on a rebuild. You clearly want to win a cup. This is a win-win. Like, let's start talking.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen this year, in my opinion, because he just signed the deal in the offseason. That's way too soon for him.
Right.
Like, he's not that guy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just too soon. But next year, when everything goes south again in Pittsburgh, it's going to be talked about, and it's going to get real.
Yeah.
And we're going to be on that list. I'm telling you boys right now. We're going to be on that list. Not saying we're getting them. There's
Like,
going to
we'll
be
be
5
there.
or 6, 7 teams on that list, but we're going to be one of them. Just because of fucking Rutherford. Which is what good management and one who happens to have a lot of ties to the player can do for you. So.
Weirdly enough, the next team on our list is Washington Capitals.
Jesus. Yeah.
So 89 point preseason point
man.
estimate. I don't even know what was my thinking here, but I had the only over here.
Yeah.
Everyone else had an under.
Yeah.
They're at 80 points, so they need to win 5 more games, and they're at 89. To be honest with you, like everything they did this offseason hit.
Yeah.
Logan Thompson's amazing. Jacob Chychrun is a really good 2C or 2D.
Yeah.
Pierre-Luc Dubois is 4 points shy of being a point per game player for the first time in his career.
Wow.
Connor McMichael turned into the best 2C that you can ask for. Dylan Strome all of a sudden remembered he's a second overall draft pick.
Yeah, he's like a number one center.
Tom Wilson is solid. There's that Russian guy, like Protas, is scoring like crazy. It just doesn't make everything that they did this summer
Yeah.
What a cool
Logan Thompson is apparently Vezina worthy. I don't know. Like what's
His record's like 22 and
It's
2.
And he's under 2.0 goals against average.
Fucking insane. Like it is like you said, like everything hit.
Everything hit.
Everything
hit.
It's just all the hype around Ovi. It's just the energy, I think, right now.
I think a little bit has to do with that too, yeah.
But they're legitimate contenders. Like, it's deep enough into the season where you're like, this isn't just a run now.
How sweet would it be if somehow Ovi, by breaking the Gretzky record, also won another cup?
I wouldn't be mad at not Crosby, as an Ovechkin Cup. I'm sorry. I wouldn't be mad.
I couldn't.
As much as it pains me.
Luke would be very happy.
Yeah, Luke would be back in.
The next team, and I know Gabe has some thoughts about this, the really, really sad Buffalo Sabres.
Tell us your feelings.
89-point preseason point estimate.
It wasn't even high.
All of us hit the over. All of us.
We all took the over, right?
All took the over.
Wow.
They're at 49 points in 54 games, and they're going to miss this by so
It's
much.
crazy because I took the over, and I can tell you right now, I probably thought they were like a 92 miss the playoff team, and they still fucked that up.
They need to win, to put it in perspective, they need to win 26 of their last 28 games just to hit 89.
Wow.
So it's
Just-
possible.
They're worth
Dumpster fire of a French.
I know you wanted to talk about
Yeah, what were you
them.
doing?
Well, no, I was just
You just
want to touch the topic of this dumpster fire.
Why do you think they're so bad? Because
I don't.
on
I get
paper,
it.
everything they did, all the contracts they signed looked so good.
Yeah.
Their players are supposed to be good. Like, why are they so bad?
Like, I swear, if each and every one of them went to a different team, they'd excel. I feel it's like one of those situations. It's like the anti-OV.
You know what my
energy. It's just
whole
the-
thoughts is? It was the minute they brought Lindy Ruff back. I think that somehow is bad juju for that.
the ghost of Lindy Ruff is haunting the place.
I only know how to lose.
I don't know, it
The
seems
ghost
like-
is haunting it while he's still alive.
He's that old.
I don't even know. Like Gabe said, like it makes no sense because I think he's right. Like 90% of their team went to anywhere else in the league, they'd have better years than they're having. And it doesn't even make sense. Like, it really doesn't.
I watched the game
like
this
their
year.
Goaltending.
Yep.
I like their forwards.
Yep.
I like their defense.
They have
They're all
Darlene.
young and
Yeah, like-
Owen Powers is stud. Like guys like Samuelson and
Byram's good.
Like it's a good top four that's young and should be great and have all the elements of like a good top four. Like one's big and one's small and fast and one's.
Yeah, you can't blame the GM in this.
You actually
If I'm doing GM mode for the future, I build the way he's fucking built it.
and he signed them all to like phenomenal contracts. I don't think no one's making $8.5 million on
No,
that team.
it's crazy.
It's
It is
incredible.
It is weird.
Is it possible in like 2 years they're really good?
That's what we said 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And no one's asking for a trade out. How is that happening?
I'm pretty sure they all like each other.
Is
Like I
Buffalo
think that's
nice?
one of the things.
No,
Yeah.
it's a shithole.
I honestly don't know. It is one of the more baffling things I've seen. And
I
They all
watched the
like
game.
each other. They're last place.
I watched the game this season where they're up 4-1 because I watched it actually just to watch Colorado. They're up 4-1 on Colorado and they lost 7-5.
maybe the only thing that comes to mind is they just don't have like a real good veteran. Like even when a team like Ottawa, there's a lot of similarities, but they have like a Claude Giroux.
They had Okposo and then they traded it.
But like he's like a plug of a player by the end of his career. I'm talking like a legitimate guy who still contributes, but he's been around the league and he's been on winning teams, winning cultures. Like you know, even like it sounds crazy, but like if they had gotten like a JT Miller, would it have like kind of helped because there's too much of this like a kids running around like idiots.
That was the rumor. Remember for like,
I remember
Cousins?
kind of hearing it a little bit, but like I do like sometimes look at like I've heard it with Ottawa how much Giroux means to them because they're all basically like 25 or younger, and then there's Claude Giroux who's like one guy who's like legit, like still can play. He's been on winning teams. He's a good player still, and like what it means to just like hear from him versus a bunch of 25-year-olds trying to tell each other to
Do
manage
whatever.
themselves or get themselves in better game day preparation, whatever it is, but. I don't know.
Poor team.
It's weird. I don't understand it. They should have been good like Dax said like 2 years ago, so I don't have any more excuses.
You know,
Yeah,
It's
it makes no
weird.
sense. I'm sad
Yeah.
for them.
they're a sister team.
They have Seattle Kraken, so 87-point preseason point estimate. Connor and I, for some reason, went over here. Because 87 is not that high.
It's not.
It's not that high.
I probably thought they were a 90-point miss the playoff team. They added, and they were, they had some pieces.
Derek and Gabe went under. and they're sitting at 52 points in 57 games, only slightly worse than Pittsburgh. They need to win 18 games in 25. I don't think they're doing it.
Yeah. I'm just basing mine off of hate of them.
And it's weird because, again, their team is assembled fairly well. I would say, like, they're not like
Grubauer got waived. Did you see that?
Yeah, I just feel like, to me, I don't like their defense personally. I think they're too big and slow. Like, they're like a bunch of Carson
old
Soucies.
school.
Yeah, I like Vince Dunn, but like he's not even like a true number one in my opinion. So I just never thought their defense was up to snuff. Forwards are good, but they don't really have a game breaker. They have a bunch of solid players, but like there's no like number one obvious guy there. Like Shane Wright and Matty Beniers might be one day, but they're both pretty young still.
Yeah.
And they're learning their ways, so...
Yeah. Good for them that they stole off New York for Kako.
Yeah, I like that they're doing. They did that with Tolvanen, I think, last year too. They're kind of like trying to,
Bargain bin.
Yeah, they're what you would expect of an expansion team.
And they have money.
Like when unlike Vegas, like no one was falling for the tricks anymore. So I remember when they got their listed team together, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, good luck.
But they did have that one season where they beat the Avs. So
again, I think a lot of that is just the expansion love coming in, and everyone's kind of like a misfit or whatever. And they kind of play well, but the reality sets in pretty quick, and you're just an expansion team that nobody threw a bunch of half-assed players.
True. Yeah.
Facts.
Utah Hockey Club, 87-point preseason point estimate. Every one of us went over. They're at 57 points in 56 games, so not the best. They need 31 points to break the over.
And 27 games.
At 26, so that's 15 wins and a tie.
Hoping the Mormon Juju would make them better, and it just did nothing.
Well, Sergachev's actually, he's doing really well. Keller's doing really well.
Yeah.
The rest of the team, okay. Gunther's doing pretty well, too.
I just think they're young still, personally. Like, I remember thinking going into the year, too, like, there's a chance for them to make the playoffs, but a lot of these guys are 19, 20, 21. Like, they're all going to be so good in a couple years that I fully expect Utah to be a playoff team in like 2 years.
Do you think they hit the over?
First?
It's pretty close.
It's like close.
11. It's not like 11.
It's going to be really close. I think it's going to come down to a point or two.
Yeah, it might be tight, but we could do it. Maybe next year when we do this, we actually put a bet in. And see how close we get.
Yeah.
But I thought they were going to do it, and I don't think they're going to be the Utah Yeti. I think they got declined, right?
Yeah, it's
Did you see that?
They're like it's
why
official.
Did they declined it?
Trademark because of
Because of
Yeti,
Yeti.
the cooler brand.
Yeah, they don't want to. They're not willing.
Well,
Fucking lame. I don't understand
They should have
because I'm like,
co-branded.
I know. I'm like, isn't there a way to like financially benefit both of you here? Like, it seemed weird that Yeti was so like, nope.
They probably just didn't want to be associated with Mormons.
I have a funny feeling pivot to something similar somehow and another, but
All right, the next team we have are the St. Louis Blues. 86 points for the point estimate. I'm the only one that went the over. Everyone, I don't know why, man. I actually don't even know why. Everyone else went under. They had 55 points. They have 26 games to go. I think this is not going to hit the over. I think they're just not good enough. They don't have any depth. I don't even think we have to talk about them because they're so boring.
they're probably the most boring team in the NHL.
They are. They don't really have very fun players.
Jordan Kyrou is the only interesting guy there.
Yeah. That's the thing. We can go over that. I'm the only over there. The Philadelphia Flyers, 86-point preseason estimate. Gabe and I were really overzealous here. We both went over. Connor and Derek went under. They have 55 points in 57 games. I think this is a very, very easy under.
Yeah.
They are not good.
No. They were better than they were supposed to be last year.
Yeah.
By a lot.
At the start of this year, they were really hot with Michkov and everything.
And Konecny's having a great year. It's just, they're not ready.
That's all they have.
They got Kuzmenko. And Kuzmenko and Michkov played their Russian...
They did.
It hasn't started well. He had 1 point in the first 4 or 5 games. So.
1 point is all you need.
Kuzmenko will be back in the KHL very soon.
Yeah. I think they go on a little run maybe. But they can't really tank because they're one of those weird teams where most of their guys are actually pretty young.
Yeah.
So they can't really sell people up unless you decide that, hey, Konecny's not part of our timeline, but they just signed him.
I think he's
Well, they're just trying to
he's
fairly
also
impress.
captain material.
Yeah.
I look at Konechny as like the future captain of the team. He's kind of like what Brendan Gallagher is to the Montreal Canadiens.
He's good.
He might not line up with the windows of when the rest of them come up and are good, but he also like screams Philly brand, right?
Yeah,
Like, rough
I
and
really
tough.
like him. I actually really like him.
If he ever shook loose and there was a world where we could get him,
I would
love him.
He would be like our Kessler reincarnated.
Yeah. He's like a better Brock Besser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're coming into the bottom 6 teams here. At least bottom 6 in predictions. So
The fun that
these are really fun.
Yeah.
Calgary came into the season with an 81-point prediction. All of us thought under. Easy under.
Yeah.
They have 60 points right now. I think this is easily going to hit the over.
Yeah.
for sure.
Easily hit the
Yeah.
over. Unless for some reason they decide to sell everybody.
Dustin
and even
Wolf-
then, 10
Dustin-
wins.
Dustin
not-
Wolf will pull off enough
Yeah.
wins that they'll pull this up.
They just need 10 more wins. That's all they need.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
I did not see that at all.
No.
Pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
No.
Dustin Wolf is like a revelation for them. He's the real deal. He's kind of small, but holy fuck is he good. He's UC Saros 2.0.
Oh, man. Calgary always has good goaltending.
I know.
Kiprasov, remember how long he
Kiprusoff
haunted
was
us?
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, that's a pretty fun one. I don't think any of us saw Calgary hitting that 81-point total at all. The Canadiens, 76 point estimate. All of us went over, which is actually a pretty good one because they're at 55 points in 56 games.
Really good there.
They only need 10 more wins, so I think that one was a pretty good over for all of us. Like, nailed it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll hit 80.
After we recorded the first pod, I almost signed up for a betting account just to bet on the playoff odds because it was 1 in 18 for them to make the playoffs.
I don't think.
Canadiens?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs though.
But
That's tough.
they were close for a bit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They were on a run there a little
Yeah.
while ago,
Yeah.
and it looked actually possible like they were going to be a playoff team.
but they're going to beat the
I
76
have to
point.
say, small side note, and Dax loves this kid, but Lane Hudson.
I told you. I told everybody.
Hey, I said he was good
Yeah,
too. I didn't.
yeah.
I said there's a chance he could be like Quinn Hughes level, but honestly, I thought that was a pipe dream, and now I think
Kinda
that
does,
It
yeah.
actually.
Damn.
You know,
It
he
looks
set the
possible.
record for most assists as a rookie, or most assists for rookie defenseman.
No.
Granted, Quinn, I think missed some games in his rookie year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But last year I would send Connor videos, like NCAA videos of Lane Hudson. And I'm
He
like,
is
dude, look how he
really
look how he
yeah.
skates.
Well, I would watch stuff because Will Anderson.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
I would watch some clips too, and it
Have
was
you seen him?
obvious.
He's like,
His skating
The
is
real
up there
deal.
with Hughes. The
Wow.
only
Yeah.
knock I'll give on him is he's actually quite a bit smaller than even Hughes.
yeah,
Oh, damn.
He's so small that I worry that's the thing that'll separate Hughes from him. Is
I've
that
seen
he'll
a
always
lot.
be this offensive dynamo, but like he is so small, like I don't know how the fuck he defends.
he does this
Like,
thing. If you ever get a chance to watch Montreal,
He's
'cause
Garland small.
he took over the
Damn.
power play over Matheson,
Yeah.
and he has this move that he does at the top of the blue line, where you know how basketball
The
you do like the
shake.
crossover.
Yeah, the
he
shimmy
does
shake.
this like
It's like a
shimmy
shimmy
shake
shake
on
on skates.
skates. It's
Yeah.
crazy to look at.
Oh,
It's
wow.
Like,
pretty
and you can
fucking
see it. Like he does this whole like full speed forward. He can go like this,
Yeah.
and people like bite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
His skating is Makar and Hughes level.
It's
my
really
my
cool.
only knock on him is he's like 5'9",
Yeah, that's
which
tough.
is like going to be tough because you're a defenseman. Like Quinn, as much as we regard like he's not the biggest guy, he's still 5'11", so he's
Oh,
not
yeah,
exactly
he's not
the
tiny,
smallest.
yeah.
But when you look at like Lane Hudson, he's like 2 inches and like 20 pounds smaller than
Yeah.
Hughes. So I wonder defensively if that'll be the thing. That
But that's probably
stops
why
him.
he skates so well because he doesn't want
I
to get
think, I
hit.
think a little bit too, but it's
Makes
just
sense.
my only thing with him being like a potential like Norris man down the road is I just think he's too
Yeah,
small.
he's very
But
good.
He's very good offensively.
All right, so the last 4 teams here, we got Chicago Blackhawks with the 73 point estimate. We all went over. I think we all were like, Connor Bedard is amazing. And they have
Connor
41
Bedard
points.
is not.
How many?
41 points.
It sucks because I still think Connor Bedard is amazing, but
Yeah.
the team around him is still dog shit.
They're not hitting that over.
No.
I'm sorry. But
Their defense is kind of laughable. I can't
Yeah.
even name
you
it.
know what, man? As bad as they have, their goalie's actually pretty good.
Mrazek.
Yeah, which
I've
is
said
weird
this-
to
I've been
say.
saying this for years. It's like Blackwood, dude. If Mrazek went somewhere good, I swear to God, everyone would be surprised at the fact that like this guy's a pretty good goalie. He's one of those guys, like I watch him, and sometimes Chicago wins 2-1 games. It's because Mrazek made like 45 saves.
Crazy.
It's like,
Crazy.
All right, the next team, I don't think any of us would have gotten, and I don't even think any of us think they're they've been this good. They're not good, but I think all of us think they've been just terrible. But the Ducks had a 71-point preseason point estimate. We all hit the under. They're at 54 points.
Oh.
They just need 8 more wins to break that over, and I think they're going to
They
get
can
it.
do that, yeah.
I think what's happened is a lot of their young guys have just been solid.
Pretty sure it's Lucas Dostal.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, look, never mind.
Their goalie is pretty
Took over for Gibson.
Lucas Dostal. It's funny. I'd been hearing about him for years, but never really got a chance to see him. And then he came in last year as the backup,
I think
and
so.
very quickly started splitting. And this year, whenever I watch him, it's just like the Anaheim commentators are literally like, "Oh, it's the Lucas Dostal show." It's like he's that
just
good,
that guy,
and the
yeah.
team is not that good.
He's only like 24 too.
He's young too, yeah. It's like his future's very bright. He's very good. But yeah, the rest of the team is just young. Like they're interesting. A couple of years they're going to be very good.
Another team that I'm actually super pleasant that we all missed on this. I think it's the feel-good team of the season, and I think if they had any sort of run and somehow snuck into the playoffs, I think everyone would be behind them. Columbus Blue Jackets, 69-point preseason point estimate, super low. We all hammered the under because we were like, this team's going to be terrible. Johnny Gaudreau died.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody, but they're at 60 points.
Wow,
So
that's shocking.
they're like step in step with us.
Yeah.
They need 4 more wins to break the over, and I think they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And the one thing, because I've actually watched a little bit of them, they just score. They just score goals.
Yeah, they got some surprisingly good forwards. Like, obviously, like, some young guys like Kent Johnson's what I thought he was, which is just, like, an offensive dynamo. Like, I think he's super skilled.
He's point per game.
Yeah, he reminds me of young Petey, like, when Petey first broke into the league. It's just his hands are just so fucking good.
Nice.
Yeah.
His vision, all that stuff. And then, like, defensively, I mean, Werenski's having, like, a Norris level
He's Norris.
year. They got some-
Marchenko and Voronkov have come out of
Marchenko
nowhere.
is
Marchenko.
ridiculous.
I remember you and me were like trading him a bit in fantasy maybe last year or something, but like I started realizing like this guy can score goals.
Yeah.
And then like this year I'm like, oh, this guy's like one of the better goal
And he's
scorers
23
in the league. Yeah,
he's
tall.
legit.
He's like 6'4".
He's legit,
tall
legit.
boy, and he's fast too.
Yeah.
He skates like imagine Mikheyev, but he can score.
Oh,
He reminded me right off the bat. I'm like, he's tall as shit, but he's fast, really fast, frontline speed, but he can actually
put the puck in the
The,
net.
the guy that I've been so stoked for, and unfortunately it came at this expensive Sean Monahan getting hurt, but the coach Dean Evison finally had to give a chance to Adam Fantilli.
Yeah.
And Adam Fantilli in the last like 20 games has just gone ham.
Yeah,
Nice.
I know we kind of mentioned it. If there was a world where we're trading PD before July 1st, I want it to be a Columbus. And
Fantilli.
I want it to be
I want
Fantilli
Fantilli.
coming back.
Yeah, he's that good.
He's 19, man. Like,
He's
the world
just
is his
like,
oyster.
he's a for sure top 6 center. He reminds me a lot of Jonathan Tace.
Oh, wow.
Like, I think he could be that
That kind of guy.
that kind of, like, he's never going to break the bank offensively. He's no 100-plus point guy, but he's like a very good, big-bodied two-way center that can put up 89.
Well, he's 19. Picture this. He's 19. He plays top power play for them. He's on the top line with Voronkov and with Marchenko. And he plays top center on their penalty kill.
Damn.
At 19.
Yeah,
I remember
crazy.
draft day, it was looking at a man versus boys.
Yeah.
He was like a man's body at 18 when everyone else, even when they're like long and tall, but they still look like a
Skinny.
boy.
Yeah.
You looked at like his jaw and shit, and you're like, you look like you're 27.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, you just look like you're ready to play professional hockey tomorrow.
Yeah. And last but very least, unfortunately, San Jose with a 63-point estimate. For some reason, I went over.
All right.
Everyone went under. They're at 37 points.
Oh,
They could do it, maybe.
they were doing really good for the first 10
I was going
games.
to say, they traded Granlund. He
Yes,
was surprisingly effective.
Askarov is as advertised,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
And Eklund.
And Eklund.
And,
Eklund is very... And Celebrini.
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 Smith is
Those
gonna be-
snipes
Yeah.
reminded me of like Joe Sakic's kind of shot.
Dude, Celebrini is the real
Beautiful.
And Will Smith.
Will Smith, yeah.
They
very
look...
interesting.
They have a team, man. They have a team.
They have a bright future. They've drafted kid Sam Dickinson
Yeah.
last year. He looks like a legit, like, top hair kind of D-man, too.
So, I mean, that's our over-under. I think we all did pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Connor, again,
Connor crushed it.
crushed it. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely crushed the over-under.
Got a few.
I did okay, but I did get some where I was the only one, which I'll put my flag in. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also had some overs on some really
I definitely was just. I just voted with the herd. I was a herd mentality. It's going to get you decent results, nothing special.
I have no comment.
You did pretty decent.
I think I had some pretty bad ones.
Okay, before we wrap up here, little fun activity that we did before we left was predictions for awards.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the President's Trophy, so this is our update so far. The President's Trophy, I had Dallas.
Yeah.
Connor and Derek went Edmonton. Gabe went Tampa Bay. And the current leader is Winnipeg, but not far behind is Edmonton and Dallas. So we're pretty close there.
That's good.
Gabe, you didn't make a bad choice. I think Tampa Bay still has a shot, maybe, but probably not.
Not impossible.
I'll set up a prediction for us to make before the trade deadline. Do you think there will be larger trades than there have been already?
Not as big as Rantanen.
Well, it's funny because I think Rand going to move again.
Oh,
so
right,
I'm like,
right.
So that's.
Never mind. Okay.
Let's say.
What's the return? I guess.
Yeah, let's say two blockbusters to this level.
So Rantanen plus
Plus
one more.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I do.
see it,
I think
yeah,
there's going
I
to be
can
one
see
more
it.
big one. I don't know what, where, who, but
Dobson probably, if anything.
like it shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but it's New York.
And I've also
It's New
been
York.
reading too much on it. At first, when I saw an article and I thought it was bullshit, and then I started seeing it all over the place, and I'm like, why is this even a thing? Like, if it's out there and that much, though, you're like,
There's smoke. There's
Also, like, what dictates it, too? Like, if we trade Besser, does that count?
Yeah.
He's a
That'd
pretty
be
big
big.
player.
I think. I'd say it
I'd say
counts,
so.
but it's not.
Scored 40
bigger than
goals
Rantanen.
last year. I'm like,
Yeah.
at what point do you call it, like, a big
Yeah,
trade?
All right,
but I think we've seen the biggest trades.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we got the Hart Trophy now. Dax, myself, Connor and Derek all went McDavid. Gabe went McKinnon. All not bad picks, but I think Gabe is closest because I think Draisaitl's actually the MVP out of McDavid. But I'd say, who would you guys think right now, if you had to pick an MVP, who would it be? I think actually me would be Draisaitl.
That's Quinn Hughes.
Quinn Hughes?
I know that sounds super homey and biased, but I actually don't think it is, because there's been a lot of talk on it lately on all the shows and 650 and stuff, but like the more and more that they keep bringing back, like, think of where a team is without said player. And I just think Quinn Hughes means more to Vancouver than any player does to that one team. And only because Draisaitl has McDavid and
Right.
McKinnon has Makar.
Right.
And like all these other amazing players that are right there with him have this other guy, and it's like it's Hughes, and then we've talked about it multiple times today about the drop off
From
in the
him
next
to
best
everyone, yeah.
player, and that's why I think Hughes to me is actually the Hart winner.
Would you?
Granted, if he misses any more time, it's
That's the only thing I was thinking about.
He's already in a place where I'm like he's at max time missed.
Yeah.
One more
Yeah.
game missed, and I think
It's
all
over.
those awards, even Norris, honest to God, they're probably going to start to go.
And the only reason why I've heard the Hughes for Hart, and I actually think that's actually a super, super good argument. But the only reason why I push back a little bit is because if it actually did truly mean if you remove this player from the team, then Kucherov shouldn't have won it last year. Because he dragged that Tampa Bay team to the playoffs last
And
year.
in that same vein, Kaprizov should be a runner-up.
No, but Kaprizov's missed 25 games.
Yeah, early first quarter, he
was the winner.
He was the
I think.
winner,
Yeah,
yeah.
as far as I had known in the first 25, 30 games,
he was pulling that team.
He was the hands down
fully.
favorite to win. And like I do kind of agree with you. You're probably right, but I think the one thing that hurt him was last year. McDavid put up how many points? Like it was
McKinnon.
or McKinnon won last year.
Yeah, but Kucherov beat him by 3. Yeah. That was a weird year.
Yeah,
I think everyone just didn't like him because of the All-Star game.
Yeah, everyone was
Maybe.
tired of Kucherov. They needed to face.
I'm just waiting too, and I think there's a real chance for Hughes this year because I think at some point the people that vote are going to break the rule, and it's going to be a goalie or a D-man eventually. And that's another reason why Hellebuck could also win it this year. If Hellebuck keeps at his pace, he's also.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
sweet.
I'd be
That'd be
so.
so nice.
Like
oh,
the
I'd
year
like
Luongo
that.
should have
I'd be
fucking
so
won the
in.
Hart, and
Yeah.
he should have
if
won
they go,
that.
if they go presidents, I think it should be
Yeah.
Helly.
Yeah.
So I'm of the mindset if it's Hughes or Hellebuck, I'd be happy either way. I do think we need to break that mold if it can only get forward. I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I
bullshit.
agree.
What's that?
Yeah. Maurice, the Rocket Richard. I went Matthews. Derek went Matthews. Connor and Gabe both went Gensel. As it stands, these are the top 5. It's Draisaitl with 40, Nylander with 33, Scheifele, Reinhardt, and Point all with 31.
Wow.
So I think Draisaitl closes this out.
Yeah.
I just think he has too much talent around
It
him.
feels pretty much
But
closed out.
part of me wants Shifley to like go
That
on
would
a
be
run.
sweet,
I think it would just be
Telling you,
so
the
cool.
snuff from Canada
That would
might
be so
Okay,
That would be cool.
For the record, Gensel's at 27. You should have at least.
I went top 5.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
sorry.
27.
Yeah, he's no
Two
scrub.
guesses.
He's freaking getting fed by Kucherov.
Yeah,
Why is there no
he's
top
hitting his stride
assist
more
award?
lately.
Huh?
There should be a trophy for a top
Because it would be
assist.
McDavid and Kucherov every season.
Well, yeah, but they'd eventually retire and someone else can.
call it like the Joe Thornton Award or something.
Yeah.
If you're looking at his goal scoring from the beginning, like just a quick scan, he could pick pace.
Gensel?
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing,
Settling in.
especially because if Kucherov goes supernova, he could do it. The Norse. All of us except for Derek. Oh, actually, no. Me and Connor went in the car. Derek and Gabe went Hughes. And I think right now, as it stands, it's Hughes' trophy to lose. But let's just say, and I'm not saying this happens, but let's just say he misses a little bit more time.
Oh, it's over.
It's between Werenski or Makar.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Werenski's been. It's crazy that Werenski's in that
Yeah,
conversation.
no, 100%. And I do
Like
think
you said,
one of those situations where if Werenski drags Columbus into the playoffs, it's his.
Yeah.
And if Hughes misses that time that we're kind of alluding to, if Hughes and Werenski both play out the rest of the year and both drag their teams to the playoffs, Hughes wins. But
Yeah.
if Hughes misses time, Werenski probably gets it.
Yeah. Sorry, Gabe, what do you say?
I was just gonna say your loyalty to Werenski is finally paying off.
Yeah. I drafted
I've
him
always
every
thought
year.
he's a really good guy, like really good player, man. He's
He just
he's
get
had a
hurt.
bit of injury luck,
Yeah.
bad injury luck, and bad team.
It's coming together. Calder, me and Gabe went Michkov. Connor and Derek went Celebrini. I think
So
either of those could easily win, but I think it's
So-
Hudson.
Yeah, Hudson.
I think it's Hudson
think
right
so?
now. Yeah.
I think Celebrini got
I
it.
couldn't say.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's cooled off a bit, hasn't he?
No, he's point per game.
He's point per game.
He missed a bunch of time, but he's like point per game.
I think it might be close because I think Hudson's been so good. Especially if
Again-
Canadians figure out a way to somehow.
I think it'd be one of those things if Hudson actually played defense.
Oh, fair.
Like, it would be his, but because he's purely just an offensive guy with like a minus 27 or something, like
Yes.
it's one of those
Okay, fair.
comparables of like first line
Fair.
center versus power play quarterback, and I'm like first line center.
Right.
Fair.
right.
If he was number one stud D man, I choose that. But
Mm.
it's basically like again, not a knock on Hudson. His offensive capabilities are gonna probably be up there with Hughes and Makar, I think. But it's just he's not that defensively. Like he's just too much of a tiny man versus the rest of the world.
All right, our last two. None of us is going to get this.
Jack Adams.
For our goalie, we all went Vasi except for Derek, who went Shesterkin. It's not even close. It'll be Hellebuck.
Yeah,
So we don't have to talk about that.
Respected.
Hellebuck's a hard candidate.
Yeah.
yeah,
I was just backing my boy for my hockey fantasy.
that's fair.
Stanley Cup, I think this one's pretty funny. Connor and me both went Oilers, and Derek and Gabe both went Rangers.
Yeah, boy.
Sad high.
No, Rangers got it. It's not over yet.
So,
Not over
Wow.
yet.
yeah, I think that's pretty
They added
funny.
JT Miller.
Yeah, you never know.
Never take my opinion, guys.
I think that was pretty funny that I looked at that earlier.
That's
I'm
a
like,
great end.
damn, we were
Damn.
big on the gap there, but
It's funny because if you had asked me like finals matchup, I would have said Rangers versus Oilers. Like if we were also guessing Stanley Cup final matchup, like that probably would have been my guess.
yeah,
Hey, if there's ever a team to pull what St. Louis did off a few years ago, it's the Rangers.
not this
Like
year.
go on an insane run,
Go on an insane run.
Maybe next year.
or Nashville's just cancel a U2 concert on them. Or
If
whatever.
Nashville goes and makes the playoffs, not even wins it, but makes the playoffs, I wouldn't just. I think it would be the craziest bet.
That
What
would
are the
be
odds
the-
right now? You put money down right now if you guys want to. But thank you everyone for sticking around for the last 2.5 hours, like listening to us talk hocky. It's been really fun.
It's been a good time.
I think Connor said even we'll meet up for a trade deadline
Yeah,
show.
we're for sure going to be back.
I think
for
that'd be
trade
really,
deadline.
really fun. It'd be cool to do it on the day. I think it's always on a
I'd be
Thursday.
super
I
down.
think we can make
I
that
always
work.
take the day off work.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But
That'd be cool to do it live.
yeah, it'd be really fun. I mean, that would be super sweet.
I mean, no stress, but that's what I do.
That's an outro song.
That was
so
our outro. All right.
everybody, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
us,
Tep,
guys.
for producing the show, and take care, everybody.